Good morning. It's John Gilkison, Aero Stealth here. It is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. And I wanted to shoot this video on the numbers that I came up with for running my electric car versus our Ford C Max Energi, the car we had just prior to when we bought our Chevrolet Bolt. And this all came up because recently on the 12th of December, El Paso Electric come out and installed a time of use meter for off-peak charging for our electric car. It's for a program they call the whole house EV rider. And what it's going to do is if I charge my car between midnight and 8 a.m., it's going to reduce my electric rate to 4.7 cents a kilowatt hour, which is 39% of what I'm paying at the standard residential rate of 12 cents a kilowatt hour. So what I did is I started a new fuel log for my car so that I can get all the miles under the new rate in one place. And so then I got to thinking about it. Well, what have I done since I bought the car up till now? And, you know, what's the grand totals? Because it's in 2 or 3 different logs. So basically I came up with something like this. I'm not going to make you stare at this, but as you can see, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different logs I had to total together in order to make to get a grand total. So I don't want to get repeat too many numbers on a video, because then even I will lose track. But since we bought the car, it had 9,000 some miles on it. We've driven it 27,378 miles. Actually 79. That's what it rounds off to. And we averaged 126 miles per gallon. And we used 216 gallons equivalent of energy, which cost us $875. And that's not bad. So I was gratified to see that, and I'm going to start. So instead of, let's say, I would be paying 39% of this $875, which would reduce my cost down to, for the same miles, the 27,000 miles I just quoted you, it would reduce my cost down from $875 to $342. And that's over a year and a half. So we're looking forward to quite some savings. This hasn't happened yet. That's projected, of course. But in I'm going to go way back to 2011. In 2011, we bought a Toyota 4Runner, which was a great vehicle. We both loved it. We even towed a small tongue-hitched travel trailer at that time with it. But my wife was wanting to get a larger trailer, a fifth wheel. And so I told her we're going to have to buy a pickup truck, you know. And we found a great deal on a 2014 Ford F-150 with a 6.5-foot bed, and so we bought it in September of 2014, and then shortly after that we bought a trailer. So at that time, when we owned the 4Runner and when we owned the Ford pickup truck, those were the only vehicles we had. So we were driving strictly on gasoline, and the 4Runner got better gas mileage than the Ford pickup truck. like 22 versus 18. And also, strangely enough, the 4Runner was more energy efficient at towing the trailer we had at that time, but of course it wouldn't tow a fifth wheel. And I basically just wanted a car. At that time, that was my viewpoint, that we wanted a car that could reduce our gasoline consumption for everyday driving. And we also needed two vehicles because there's two of us and we're pretty active and we got a lot going on. Sometimes we just need two vehicles. And if you're going to travel, I thought it would be more efficient to travel with a more efficient vehicle than a truck. So we were looking around. I was looking at electric cars at the time, but we test drove a Nissan Leaf. Now we live in the desert Southwest, Las Cruces, New Mexico. It's 60 miles north of El Paso, Texas. And in late 2015, there just wasn't a lot out there, especially in a corner of the automotive sales world like Las Cruces. We did test drive a Nissan Leaf, which had 107 miles of range. But I had range anxiety, quite frankly. I wouldn't think twice about buying one today, although as far as range goes, but obviously the Nissan Leaf to me, being an air-cooled battery is very problematic, so I'm glad we never bought one. So we ran across a pretty good deal. We found a $25,000 sale on a Ford C Max Energi. It was brand new, and it had been on the lot for over a year, and they wanted to get rid of it, so we bought it, and we were glad we did. However, compared to the Chevrolet Bolt that we own now, it obviously wouldn't have been as efficient. The only thing I can say about it is the Ford C Max Energi had 20 miles of electric-only range, but it turned out that was half of our driving locally. We could literally, by using electric drive only in town and at the slower speeds, we could do about half of our driving on electric drive only without the gasoline engine. And then on a trip, obviously you'd be using the gasoline, and it would get 32 miles per gallon on the highway, but it was a nice cruiser. I mean, once you got it up to speed, 70 miles an hour on the interstate, it was nice and quiet, comfortable cruiser. And so anyway, the long and the short of it is, we drove the Ford C Max. We owned it from 2015 up to 2021. We got it in November, I think, of 2015, and we sold it in June of 2021. And we ended up putting 61,990 miles on the vehicle before we traded it in, and it averaged almost 51 miles per gallon combined. That's including the electricity and the gasoline engine. And we used 1,219 gallons of fuel, and it cost us $2,958 to operate it. So now we've only had the Chevrolet Bolt for 18 months, and we've already put 27,000 miles on it. And that's because we drive over 15,000 miles a year, and we've taken some trips in it too. So, however, what you'd have to do is normalize these two. In other words, we've driven the Chevrolet Bolt 44% as much as we drove this Ford C Max. So you would have to just multiply all your averages for the Ford C Max by 0.44. And what I come up with when I do that is that for the same amount of miles normalized for 27,000 some miles, the Ford C Max would have cost us $1,306 to operate versus the $875 that we've spent on electricity for the Chevrolet Bolt. And one other figure here. What have I done with it? Oh, it's over here. Now, $875, that same 27,000 miles, I would project it to be $342.97 under the new rate, the 4.7 cents a kilowatt hour. So there you have it. Even our electric vehicle, even compared to a very fuel efficient Ford C Max Energi at over 50 miles per gallon on average, still our electric cars just not only a lot more fuel efficient at 126 miles per gallon versus 50 miles per gallon, but it just costs less to run by a factor of $1,300 versus $875. Now, that's what it's been so far, but going forward, that cost is going to be $1,300 versus $340 some. So this is a win-win, and really don't have any range anxiety anymore. Once you gain enough experience and you get the planning and the logistics in the back of your head, you don't even think about it anymore. My wife just left the house this morning to go to town. She's only got 82 miles of projected range. We preheated the car for her because it's cold. And when she gets home, I may go down to the post office to pick up my son from his workplace. But other than that, I'm going to charge it overnight. I'm going to set it up for delayed charging to finish at 7:30 in the morning. And it'll start charging around a little bit after midnight and be done in the morning. And our cost to charge on a charging cycle like that has dropped to $2, from $4 to $5. So it's a coup, it's a win-win, and I just wanted to share all that with you. I'm sorry for all the numbers. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation to show you or anything, but you get the general idea. We've reduced our cost by 39%, and that was a cost that was already 40% lower than what we were doing before. So, and let me see, there's one other little thing I've been thinking about, and I've had comments on it. If you had solar, we do have solar. We have a 5.1 kilowatt solar panel array, 20 panels, and our charger for the car operates at 7.2 kilowatts. So if we had it plugged in during the day, only let's say it's putting out about 4, so only about 4/7 of the power going into the car on a sunny day would be solar. Now there's lots of solar around in southern New Mexico. El Paso Electric has lots of solar and wind, so I'm not really too concerned about that. The car is so much more efficient, and a good percentage of the power I get over the grid here is clean. So, and cheaper is good, so I'm going with cheaper. for my bottom line here, and everything's lining up for that. However, even so, I could charge it on 100% solar if I could charge at 16 amps. In other words, I'd need a different charger because the one I have is not programmable. I'd need a 16 amp charger, and then I would have to be sure to charge between, like, let's say 10 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. So I could charge it for about 6-7 hours a day, and it might take 2 days to charge it. So I haven't done that. I could do it. I haven't seen the need to jump through that many hoops. I'm going to leave you with that. Aero Stealth here, signing out. I'm running over 15 minutes. This is going to be a short upload, so there you have it. Everyone take care, and by all means, if you've got a gas car, you need to start trying to look for to upgrade to an electric car. There's a lot of demand for them, so it's trickier now than when we did it. But whatever you do, if you're going to buy a new vehicle, do not buy a gasoline-powered vehicle. They won't have any residual value in the coming years. The value of, it's already begun, the value of gasoline cars is dropping and dropping, and the banks are concerned because it's going to cause a car loan crisis if a lot of people end up defaulting on their car loans, which might happen, and it is happening. Not at any rate like the 2008 subprime loan thing on houses, but it is a problem going forward. Don't invest in a gasoline car because you'll be stuck with a millstone around your neck financially, and an electric car just makes a lot of sense. If you can imagine, I can drive for a couple $100 a year now versus over $1,000 for a regular car, and it's almost $2,000 or $3,000 for my truck if I did it. So that's my advice. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.